Okay. Good evening, everybody. Just getting my camera right. Right, hello, everybody, and welcome to my weekly 10 show. Okay, tonight I'm going to tell you a little story. And it's the story of four energy blocks to be precise. And I want to tell you a little story about that demonstrates how these four blocks hold us back from success in life. Okay, so I recently started working with a guy, a really nice guy, got on really well with him, still do, but he was a driven, determined guy, and he was helping me with certain elements of my business so that I can focus on my book and the marketing side and things like that. So, and at first everything was going well, and like I said, I clicked in most ways with this guy, and I really like him. However, upon meeting the guy for the first time, something happened which pushed my button, or buttons I should say, in me. And we've all got these buttons hidden inside us, right? All of us have. He stopped me talking in mid-flow by putting his hand up. And that pushed my button inside. Something twigged. It stopped me, and I instinctively thought to myself, oh, that's rude. Like, my instinctive reaction was one of sort of embarrassment, being patronized perhaps. And as a result of that, I told myself, this guy's pretty rude like that. And anyway, so as a result of that happening, me telling myself that, what happened was my energy dropped like a stone. So I went from feeling very highly energized, feeling positive, optimistic, opportunity focused, etc., to feeling frustrated and angry, and a bit, belittled sort of thing. So anyway, fast forward a few more days, and like I said, he's doing work for me, really good work, I must say that, and he's phoning up potential clients and so on. And anyway, I get a call from someone saying to me that he'd phoned him up and he was quite pushing, quite rude, and that it wasn't really a representation of what I do and who I am. So I thought to myself at the time, and again, it's the same thing, a button got pushed inside me, and I thought to myself, and I created a belief in my mind, in my subconscious mind, that told me that this guy is pushing clients away from me. Then I received a text from him essentially blaming me for not giving him the right information. And I might well have not done this, he might be right. But that was what he said. He said it wasn't basically his fault, it was my fault for basically not giving him the right information. And that then also created a response, a reaction in me, which was catabolic, meaning that my energy dropped, and I looked at it from a perspective which was conflict driven. So again, as I said, I felt probably a bit patronised, a bit low, a bit angry, frustrated, that sort of thing. So when I felt that way, my energy was low, and rather than seeing things from a highly energised level, I'm looking at things now from a low energy, where I'm feeling frustrated and not able to really think clearly, because I'm created a belief in my mind that someone's harming me in some way. So my energy hit the floor, and as a result I felt angry and I felt victimized. So I also felt at that time that I wasn't good enough, that in some way it was my fault that I'm pushing clients away from me because of something I'm doing wrong. And as a result of that, there was friction. There's been friction between me and the guy I was working with, and which is unfortunate because the relationship is very positive. It's working together, making good progress, and there's a lot of early promise there that both of us can be very successful with each other, and that's a very positive thing. So, however, when I look at the scenario from a higher energy level, without all of the frustration and the conflict mind, the beliefs that I'd created around that, then you tend to see the picture differently. And you see, these four blocks that I'm talking about tonight, they're all at play. they're all at play with all of us every minute of every day, if we allow them to be. And these 4 blocks were alive within me during this process, which is why I'm explaining and using this as an example to show you how these 4 blocks can stop any of us creating success in our lives. So when I first met him and my button got pushed, that was an interpretation. It's some story that I created in my mind. So what usually happens when we have an interpretation is our button gets pushed somehow by somebody or something, and we create a story in our mind where we tell ourselves this is happening and that's what's happening, and that then lowers our energy so that we start seeing the situation through a low level of energy, which is usually either victimization or conflict, and we only see through the prism of those energies, rather than seeing it from a higher energy, which is more in line with how you actually really want to be living your life. So I told myself that this guy was rude, he was obnoxious, that he was trying to patronize me or control me and things like that, and that lowered my energy. So I didn't stop to ask myself the question, what else could be actually going on here? That's what I didn't do. Now, if I was at a higher energy level, I would have done that. I wasn't. My energy dropped because my instinctive reaction was to create an interpretation in my mind which told me that this was happening. And I believed that, and my energy dropped. And because of that reason, I only see it through one perspective. And it was only later when you raise your energy and you start looking at it from different perspectives that you're able to see things and question things in a way which gives you a better picture of what might actually really be going on. So instead I created a story subconsciously in my mind, and I believed it. And that created a frustration, anger, and all of those things, which I didn't want to feel, which don't move you forward, and they stop you being successful. So when really I'm sure, and I'm positive actually, that he wasn't intending to be obnoxious or rude or any of those things, and it's just his way. You see, people are different. People have different styles, ways of being. And sometimes people don't get that. If we're talking to somebody, we might not realise they're actually joking. I get that all the time. I'm a joker. People don't always know that people are joking or being flippant or whatever. My dad was like that. He used to make jokes all the time. People just thought he was rude. He wasn't. He was joking. So people don't always get it, and you can take it the wrong way if you allow yourself to. And in situations like that, it's easy to do that. Secondly, I received a call from the client telling me that this had been said and blah, blah, blah. That then created a limiting belief in my mind. Now, a limiting belief is when you believe only a certain element of what could be happening, rather than, again, looking at the whole perspective of the picture of what could happen. So what you do is you create a perspective about what might be happening, which then you believe is true, and then that creates a drop in your energy. You start seeing things again through a level of frustration, anger, and those sort of things. So that told me at this when I created that limiting belief that this guy's not helping me, he's holding me back. But when you really look at it from a higher energy level, ask yourself the question, how true is that really? Because the reality is it's probably not true at all. And that's the difference between looking at something from a low level of energy and a high level of energy. When you look at something from a much higher level of energy, things change, things look different, perspectives change. And that's what holds us back in life, is when we allow these blocks to hold us back and see things from only a very limited angle and perspective, which stops us being successful. So that's essentially what happened the other day with me, and it happens every single day with all of us. So okay, he might have been a bit pushy. He might have been, but that doesn't mean he's doing damage to me. It's just his way again. And it might have come across the wrong way, yes, but it doesn't mean he was trying to damage my business or he's pushing clients away or anything like that. You know, again, when you look at the bigger picture, things change. So, and thirdly, when I received that text that was, in my eyes, as I perceived it to be, again, it's a perception of blaming me. I made an assumption. I assumed he was having a go at me, that he was blaming me and deflecting the blame off from where he, in my eyes, went wrong or so. And then that created another reaction where I felt attacked, perhaps, and then my energy dropped, and I started feeling again frustrated, patronized, low, whatever you want to call it, and that resulted in me having an argument. And then we haven't spoken, and it was caused friction, and who knows what will happen from here. But finally, I woke up this morning feeling completely victimised. I felt terrible. I felt shit. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to do anything at all. I had to because I had clients, but I had to try and bring myself out of that mindset. And it wasn't easy because I felt completely like throwing the whole towel in. I was going to shut the whole business down and do something else. And that's because I felt not good enough. I told myself that I'm not good enough to make this work. And that is called fear. It's called fear of failure. It's telling yourself that you're not good enough to do something. That's what fear is. Fear is there. It's the little gremlin on your shoulder that is there protecting you from making a fool of yourself. And it's telling you, don't do this, because if you carry on doing this, you're going to fuck it up and mess it up. And that's what fear is. And again, that's one of the main blocks to success. So you've got 4 blocks to success there: limiting beliefs, assumptions, interpretations, and fear. And all 4 of those were prevalent within me over the last few days. And they're prevalent within you every day, all of us. And it's only when you become much more consciously aware of these blocks and how they affect you and influence everything you think, everything you do in life, that you're able to do something about that and change your perspectives around what they are, raise your energy and look at things in different ways so that you're not holding yourself back from moving forward in life and creating the success that you really want. And as a result, your energy stays high. You're not getting drained by having your button pushed and reacting to situations rather than responding, and you're staying highly energized and focused and in control and in a lead and become the leader of your own life, because that's facts. At the end of the day, we're all leaders. There isn't just one leader in life. We're all leaders, and we all lead our own life, and you're in control of your life. And if you want to be fully in control of your life, get to grips with your 4 energy blocks, because they control you more than anybody else does. And that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. And like I said, I'm available for one-to-one coaching. So if you're interested, get in touch, and I will leave the details in the comments box. And have a lovely evening, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Ta-da!